What is going on, guys? Welcome back to a new YouTube video. And today, once again, we have our squat day. It was the very first day of a mini block. I'm running a bit tight on time. I looked at the plan until the next competition and it was 15 weeks beginning today. Or beginning yesterday actually, because I'm training on Sundays, or at least doing the SPD day on Sundays where I don't have work and stuff. So that makes it a bit easier to get these like ridiculous 2 to 3 hour sessions in. But basically I am 15 weeks out from the next competition, and I thought, either I can stay at the way I'm planning right now and kind of see how many blocks I want to do. So I could do 4, I believe, 3+1 blocks plus another 2+1 pre-competition block. But then I decided against it, and I will do a mini block followed by a deload, and then I'll start a 12-week proper prep in 2 weeks time. And today was actually the first day I really tried, or I really felt like I was able to squat properly again. Because I was used to only doing pause squats, and that very much messed with the normal squat pattern that I have. The movement pattern, I just basically forgot a bit of it, or unlearned the pattern. But it was great to see yesterday that I was back properly. And the more sets I did, the more confidence I gained in my squat, the more confidence I gained in my positioning, the way I held my arms, the way I squeezed my back. Everything felt better the more sets I did, and it's obviously very natural, but I'm very, very happy. I was like extremely relieved to see the squats feel good again. And don't know why, but I even threw up the last back off. I got a bit carried away there. But anyways, squats felt very nice. As I said, 15 weeks out. I'll just do like a 12-week prep with one deload in between after 6 weeks, because I reminded myself, hey Hamdi, you never did always 3 weeks, 3 week on, 1 week off in terms of deload and working blocks. Even did like 10-week prep with no deload for the last comp for German Nationals in equipped in earlier this year. And yeah, that worked out fine too. Only thing I have to really manage is my knee. And luckily I was able to do that yesterday. It is flaming up again, so I'll have to have a look into that, or have someone, a specialist or a doctor in best case, look into that. But overall still was able to manage it. And on board presses we had a light 145, just to also enter the block in a light but still meaningful fashion. And in the next perspective, you can really see what I want to achieve with the board presses, or what the reasoning for the board presses is. Basically, these like 2.5, maybe 3 centimeters, maybe this 1 inch for the Americans, is really where I'm saving ROM, range of motion. Sorry, ROM is range of motion. Where I'm saving ROM and training a specific part of the lift, which I'm usually the worst at, and that is the lockout, because I have fairly long arms, but due to the bridge it makes it a bit easier for me. The third exercise on this day was my paused deadlifts. I reintroduced light paused deadlifts on my SPD day. We took out the snatch grip RDLs. They served the purpose, but now it's about time we get back into paused deadlifts. And especially not the way I did them, or most of the sets, because in my opinion, I'm pausing them too high. I want to achieve perfect form on them again and pause them right above the ground, just to really work this very first starting position and get really good at it again, because that was a game changer in last year's prep, or in the last prep in earlier this year. And of course, I want to repeat that, and therefore I decided to take out my snatch grip RDLs and put this exercise back in, just to not get slapped randomly by other bodybuilders in the gym, but to focus on neutral spine position, very good hip placement. So what you're seeing here from the side is how I'm trying to push my hips towards the bar. I want basically a hip push movement that makes me very efficient, and this is the most optimal way I can achieve that, and the most optimal exercise I can do to practice the efficiency for my sumo lifts. And so this exercise went back in on the very first day of the week. Moving on, after my SPD, I obviously had some biceps. Honestly, I wanted to talk about something while I'm doing my curls in the background. It's really the management of pain, the management of injury, and the management of load. So what I experienced throughout the week was, so I had a rather, let's call it stressful week, quote unquote. It wasn't really stressful. It was just that I was not home the first 3-4 days, or like the last week I was not home until like a Wednesday. Long story short, I got a lot of steps in. I believe I got like 25k steps in, maybe 30k steps on a day. And obviously, being at that body weight, I was not used to this amount of load on my knees. Hence, next day, my right knee was flaming up hardcore. So what I have in my right knee is, or at least I think, or that was the last status I had from the doctor when I last visited him, maybe 10 years back. But what I have since I was 13, 14 is cartilage damage in my right knee, and also some tendon issues there, but mainly the cartilage issue, damage that causes inflammation and the buildup of a Baker cyst. So what a Baker cyst is your joints. They produce the joint liquids around them to keep everything smooth, and this secrete is getting out of the joint itself and accumulating in the back of my knee. So what does this mean? It's not very painful, but it's very uncomfortable. It makes walking uncomfortable. It makes squatting uncomfortable. I need to warm up more extensively in order to counter that. I need weight to actually push me down to get a better angle on my knee, or like to bend my knee more. I actually need force to bend my knee and to push away the liquid in the back of my knee. And really, the gist of the story is that in my training plan that I wanted to do, I had 3 squat sessions. But I recognized that during last week, I tried doing 3 squat sessions. Obviously, it was deload, and so I did them very light. But there was no way I could do an SPD day on the very first day, then squat again on the third day, and squat again on my 4th training day after my deadlift. So having an SPD, then on the third day another squat variation, and after my deadlift and bench another squat. So I would have almost 2 SPD days. And even though it was deload and I moved very lightweight the last week, I immediately felt it. Like my knee was not happy at all. And so for this session, the previous day, I did a bunch of stuff, meditation, cooling, breathing, all kinds of stuff to relax my body and get my knees in shape. And obviously it worked, but still it was a clear sign of my body telling me, dude, we're not having 3 sessions. And so I act accordingly, or I will act accordingly, and remove the 3rd squat session and just squat 2 times and listen to my body and try and get through this prep as healthy as possible. With that being said, guys, I wish you all the love, all the power. Have a good one.